reason we didn't cut the grass down here. Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Beatty, and I'm going to be sharing with y'all some of the things I'm planning on planting in our fall garden for the Semper Fresh Garden, and in my green stalks too, depending on how the harvest goes with my summer in the green stalk. So I've already started getting some seed catalogs. This one's from High Mowing Organic Seeds. If you're new to gardening this year, or if you're not new to gardening, then you probably know that some of the seed companies are having a shortage on the seeds. So while this catalog is great, and thanks for sending it to me, a lot of these seeds are out of stock. It is the middle of June, end of June, and I'm already planting my fall garden. And one of the main reasons why is because I'm worried that there is going to be a shortage on items. So I'm making sure that I have everything that I need to feed my family and to feed the families that I'm planning on feeding from our garden. Obviously, we're not going to be getting all of our food from the garden, but if we could be a little bit self-reliant and cut some of those things out from having to purchase at the grocery store, then that would be wonderful. Okay, so some of the first things that I've already started in the greenhouse that I will be growing in the garden this year in the fall. Some of the things that I tried to grow in the spring, but I really couldn't find them, and we just did not get the garden started in time to do a lot of spring stuff. So I have some kale, some different kale. Full disclosure, I'm a very picky eater, so a lot of these varieties I'm not eating, but I know other people will appreciate them and would like to have them, and I would like to perfect some of my gardening skills on varieties that I don't eat. I also don't cook. I don't know how to cook kale. I mean, I cook. I don't know how to cook kale. I have roasted it in the oven. I have a sensitivity to some leafy greens. I can't eat kale, so I will be trying kale again this year. Something else that I'm going to add for our fall garden is gourds. These need to get planted pretty soon. And while we're talking about that, on the back of your seed packet, you're going to find all of the information you need on when you need to plant. If you're getting a seed packet that's kind of like this, that you got from somewhere that's not an actual seed company, or someone handed seeds down to you, because this is what I do when I send people seeds, and I just tell them to Google the variety. Do that. Google the variety and find out all the information that you can about it. Or at least, if you can't get the specific type of gourd or kale or lettuce, it's probably going to be very similar to lettuce. If you can't find the specific type. Another thing that you need to do is Google your first frost date for your area based on your zip code. Ours is October 22nd. That's actually my birthday. So I know when I need to plant my fall seeds. Something's crawling on me. Sorry, I just came from the garden. I was gonna shoot this in the garden, and we moved the bees today, and they are not happy. And I almost got stung, and I'm allergic to bee stings. So I didn't get to do the work that I was trying to do in the garden tonight. I got a little bit of things done. I definitely looked and found some pests and eliminated those pests. But I wanted to spray with neem and treat with DE on some of my plants, and the bees were just a little too angry for me to be there, so I left. Anyway, back to what I'm planting. So you definitely want to check which plants are frost hardy, which ones can go throughout the winter. Do your research on that, and do it now. Now is when you need to do it. So I've got these gourds that I'm going to plant now. Onions. I also just ordered some Walla Walla onions. I've been having a hard time finding onions. A lot of people are buying all the onions, tomatoes, garlic. I mean, not tomatoes. Onions, potatoes, garlic. I can't find any seed potatoes, so I talked to my granddaddy for about 40 minutes the other night. He's not a talker. I'm lucky if I can keep him on the phone for 5 minutes. But talked to him about 40 minutes, and he told me just to go buy a bag of organic potatoes from the grocery store, let the eyes grow, and then plant them. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do that this week. I'm gonna go look for some organic potatoes. I know exactly where I can go to get those, and I will get some potatoes to grow. We already have the potatoes out in the Semper Fresh Garden that are gonna be, you know, plentiful, but we're sharing. We're not keeping this food just for ourselves. So I would like to grow a fall harvest of potatoes as well. So I've got my onion seeds. I am gonna get ready to start those. The seed packet here says to plant it 8 to 12 weeks in advance of planting out. This says 3 to 4 weeks ahead of the last spring frost, but I'm planting these in the fall. So, and these are frost hardy, so they'll be fine. And a lot of times on the back, not on all seed packs, but on the back here, it'll actually give you a chart with the date. And for my area, it says to transplant these out February through May. But I'm actually going to be growing these in the high tunnel, so that messes with my numbers a little bit. Artichoke. So I've started these in the greenhouse. I'm going to try growing artichoke again. This is some red Russian kale. I've already planted that. I've planted my Brussels sprouts. And then I have this entire bag that I've separated from my regular seeds that are cold weather crop. So I have sugar magnolia snap pea and sugar and snap pea. These are from Farm Lust, is the name of the company they come from. They have these cute little packets. I love seed packets. They are so pretty, especially Peaceful Valley. They have just the prettiest seed packets. I love theirs. My carrots. I'm going to do some in the high tunnel and some out in the raised bed garden. I have some watermelon radish. I've got my celery I'm going to try again. See, I've got beets. I don't eat beets. I don't know how to cook beets, but I'm gonna try. And I know a lot of other people that do like beets, so I'm gonna try out some beets. Brussels sprouts I've already planted. Rutabaga. So see, sometimes your seeds packets will just come like this. This is for Zella Jake Farm and Garden. I got these off of Etsy, and I do buy a lot of my seeds from Etsy, especially right now, because I haven't been able to find a lot from places like Baker Creek and some of the bigger seed companies that I normally purchase from. But if you are buying on Etsy, read their reviews. A lot of times people will leave reviews on if something germinated, how quickly things came. So Etsy is a great resource if you're having a hard time finding things. But make sure you're checking the country of origin. Not that I'm against getting things from other countries, but I did, I almost ordered some fingerling seed potatoes, and they were coming from Pakistan. I don't even know how that gets shipped internationally. I don't even know how that's allowed or anything about that kind of stuff, so I obviously did not buy those. But someone in the United States is buying them because they're shipping them over here. So this is mustard green. I haven't planted this. This is something that that you would direct sow. And again, your seed packet is going to tell you on the back whether you should start it indoors or direct sow. You could do almost anything either way. I've direct sown peppers and tomatoes and they've come up, but that you just get a better germination and a better jump start in a greenhouse under grow lights or whatever the case may be. So but you don't have to direct sow everything, and you don't have to start everything in the greenhouse, but you could. So I have my broccoli. Let's see where my broccoli are here. That's cabbage and cauliflower. So I have Waltham broccoli. Broccoli was another one I was having a hard time with. I wanted to do some more artwork broccoli, but I can't find the seeds for that. I have the early purple sprouting broccoli, and I have another broccoli. And all of these are in the greenhouse, my broccoli are. Maybe I just have the other broccoli on the way. These are snap peas. Yeah, maybe my other broccoli is just on the way. I forget what other broccoli I ordered. It's kind of bad. No, I've already planted it. I don't know. Anyway, I think I just dropped some seeds. So I have my broccoli already started in the greenhouse, and it's already germinated, and I'm a little ahead of the game, but again, I'm planting mine in the high tunnel. I'm gonna be able to control the temperature in there a lot easier and control the sunlight. So I got these free seeds from Baker Creek. Chris likes lettuce. I can't eat lettuce. I have a little sensitivity to lettuce and greens like that. But he doesn't typically like this style of lettuce, but this lettuce is called Paris Island, and my husband's a Marine, and that is where he went to boot camp. So I'm growing Paris Island lettuce for him. Then I have some Stanton cabbage. I have some earlyana cabbage. This cabbage is a 60-day harvest. So that's another thing you can look at. So this cabbage is 125 day to harvest, and this one is 60. So that's another thing you need to look at when you're deciding what kind of variety you want to grow. Look at how quickly your harvest is going to come in, and if it's not a frost hardy variety, then you need to make sure that it's going to be able to be harvested before your frost date. Here in Northern Virginia, we're Zone 7A. I'm on the backside of Marine Corps Base Quantico. That's where my garden is. It borders the base. We have had no frost up until Thanksgiving before. So I plant succession growing, like I do that a lot. I will be planting some more beans here soon. Oh, my solar lights just came on. That scared me. I will be planting some beans soon. I will be like doing another thing of squash, and I will be doing some in the high tunnel when we get that finished up in the next week. And I will be planting one bed that's going to be 32 feet by 4 feet with late summer crops of tomatoes, peppers. I don't think I'm going to do any beans in there, but then I'm going to do some cold crops on the other side, so that after I harvest the summer crops from the one bed, I will be succession planting again for the winter with a fall crop, and I'll be able to control the temperature in there. This is all theoretically because I've never grown in high tunnel before or a greenhouse to that scale. So my hope is to extend our growing season for the summer, and then to turn around and succession plant a fall crop that will be able to be harvested around mid-December. That would be wonderful. But some of that's just going to be experimental, and once I get things down, I'm going to put garlic and my onions in the high tunnel, and a lot of my root vegetables I'm going to split between the raised bed garden and the high tunnel, because I also want to do some experimenting and have a control to see. I planted both of these at the same time, one in the high tunnel and one in the raised bed garden, and which one was more fruitful. So my cauliflower, I have Snowball. That's always a good variety. I also have Flame Star, which is the orange colored, and then I have Skywalker. I bought Skywalker only because we love Star Wars, and Skywalker cauliflower, why not? I also have some more radishes, Pink Beauty, and Easter basket mix. I don't even like radishes, but to me, I mean, I know people that love radishes, so they're not going to go bad, and the chickens love the radishes too, but radishes are something easy that you can plant if you're a new gardener, and it gives you satisfaction because it's very easy to grow, and you can harvest it really quick, like within 30 days. So that one's always a great variety of plant to grow, a vegetable to grow in your garden, because it makes you feel accomplished. These Uzbek Golden, where did I get these from? Oh, these are from Baker Creek too. And then I got some kohlrabi. I don't like kohlrabi. I don't like rutabaga, but some people told me I should try rutabaga and try to cook it like mashed potatoes, and we love mashed potatoes, so I'll probably like that. And then I have some green sweet pea. And then of course I'm also going to plant some more sunflowers, and I'll plant some in the high tunnel as well. So essentially that is about everything that I'm planting in my fall garden. Put all these back in here because some of these packs are open. I don't want them to spill out. Again, if you get some seed catalogs, or go ahead and sign up for some seed catalogs, I'll put a link to a blog that I follow that has some great organic seed catalogs and some different things like that. Oh, celery. Celery is another thing I'm going to try, but I'm going to have to use plant starts because my seeds did not germinate. So I'm going to have to find some celery plant starts. And I like looking in the seed catalogs because it gives you, not only gives you ideas on different variety of squash, or different variety of corn, or different variety, you know, it shows you what they're gonna, it also shows you which they're gonna look like. So not only do you have different variety of something you're thinking squash and you're only thinking of yellow crookneck because that's what you see, there's lots of different squash that is great. I like golden zucchini. That's what we just started growing this year. This is the first year I've ever tried it, and I am going to grow it from now on because it is so delicious. I may even eliminate some of my crookneck squash, my yellow crookneck squash, because it tastes much better than that. But again, the seed catalogs are great. A lot of people have digital versions, so if they're out, because so many people were ordering seeds and asking for catalogs, I've noticed a lot of people are out. You know, it gives you different kind of ideas for your cucumbers, and then it shows you this is, when you harvest it, this is what it should look like. And sometimes on your seed packets, you know, you're not getting a picture. Sometimes you're getting a picture and sometimes you're not. So without Googling it, you may not know. Another thing that I do is I keep a garden journal. I keep up with rainfall. I draw out where I want to plant things in the early part of the season, and then I draw another, let's see, I put little notes about, oh, I found this pest here, or I planted something there. So then I actually come back and draw what I actually planted, because I'm notorious for changing my mind. I'm very analytical when it comes to the thought process of where I'm planting my crops. But then if something starts to die off, or I have a little bit of extra space, I start putting new things in, or I'll pull them out and move them. Just because I'm trying to maximize the amount of yield that I'm getting from my garden. But another thing that I do is I put the estimated harvest date, and then I actually come back in and put when I actually did harvest the plant, so I know if there's nothing there, then it didn't harvest. I didn't harvest anything, and maybe I shouldn't plant that next year. Maybe I should pick a different variety or get the seed from a different company. One of the other things that I do that I just started this year is weighing my harvest. I'm not doing that to try to see if I need to change anything. The biggest thing that I'm trying to do on weighing my harvest is to determine, see, here's where I came in, and actually, but I've actually changed it since this is halfway accurate. Because I even had that we put potatoes over here where the broccoli was. I actually put tomato plants there. We decided to keep the potatoes in the buckets. So I actually go back and write exactly what I had things. Plus I take lots of pictures. I make a photo album at the end of the year with my garden pictures. So it's like a hardbound book with all the pictures from my garden. I upload them onto my Facebook, and I use a company that syncs in and pulls all of those photos and lets me edit them and crop them if I want to, and add captions. So I upload the photos and I add captions, like this was my broccoli on such and such date. And I've already gone back to look at the start of this season, and I'm just shocked at how quickly things are progressing. So doing the photos helps me. It also encourages other people to garden. I don't know how many people have messaged me telling me that they've never gardened before, but this year they tried it and they share their pictures with me, and it really encourages me. And a lot of the plants actually came from here. I had a free plant stand out at the end of the driveway, and I just asked people to donate to Semper Canine, and I was able to raise about $250 in total from doing that. Gave people some great quality plants. Some of them were very rare and not a seed that you could actually just go into a local store to buy, and was able to raise some money for our nonprofit too. So it was a win-win all the way around. It paid for half of my seed budget that I had for 2020, so that was great. And essentially, you know, that's it. Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to experiment. If you think it's too late, try it anyway. You just never know what kind of weather we're gonna have. It's gonna not get cold. It's gonna get cold. I mean, heck, we had a frost the second week of May of 2020 on top of all the other things going on. But anyway, that is what I'm doing with my fall garden. I'm sure I will be adding more seeds and varieties of plants as I find them, and as I can find plant starts for some of these, I will also add those in, because I do bring in plant starts alongside seeds, even if it's the same variety, because that helps with my succession planting plan. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening. It's almost 9 o'clock and we still have daylight. Summer solstice was a couple days ago, and I'm loving this time of year. It's my favorite. But anyway, y'all have a great night, and I'll see y'all next time.